Hello folks, Chris in Arena Studio. It's great to be back, and a big thank you to the collection by Michael Miller for sponsoring this video again. Today's chat is going to be about the guitar students that come into the studio, and over the years I've put a list together of the most requested, famous, celebrity guitar players that influence all the students and some of the songs that they want to play. Okay, so there's no particular order on this. There's no favourites or a number one or a number four or whatever. It's just literally a basic list that I've put together. Now, some of these are quite surprising actually, because one of the first ones is a guy who was sort of 60s, 70s, and was in the backing band for a guy called Cliff Richard, and his name was Hank Marvin, and he sort of had a spin-off band, Hank Marvin and the Shadows, or the Shadows as they were known. Now, it's quite bizarre that this younger generation seems to be quite taken with Hank Marvin's playing techniques. I will put a link in the description to all these performances so you can check out if you're unfamiliar with any of them as well. But Hank Marvin was one of the first guys in the UK to be playing a Fender Strat. I think it was a red one that was brought over for him by Cliff Richard, and went on to play several successful hit records with guitar instrumentals. Probably the most famous one is the songs like Apache. It's worth checking out. I'll put that in the link there. So check out Apache. That was by Hank Marvin, and I'm surprised how many students still want to learn songs by the Shadows. Okay, so that was number one. Number two has to be the legendary, and I'm surprised how many younger generation players as well ask to learn songs by this guy, Mr. Jimi Hendrix. So Hey Joe, Purple Haze, any of the classics that he does, they're way up there on the list as well, which is quite great because they broke the mold when they made Jimi Hendrix. Great player, a huge influence, and still a massive influence today on today's generations of younger generations coming through as players. Number three on my list, and we've probably only got maybe one more after this, so it's not going to be a long video for you, trust me. But number three was a guy who kind of influenced me massively as well. And I've got some 10, 11-year-old students that come in and still want to learn songs and licks and techniques by this guy. And it is, of course, Mr. Eddie Van Halen, who kind of, again, they broke the mold with Eddie. And he was the first time I ever saw anybody play the guitar with two hands doing all the tapping stuff. It was totally incredible, and he probably inspired generations of guitar players through to this day. And still some of the young players that come in the studio want the whammy bars and be able to do the dive bombs and all the tapping techniques that was made famous by the legend that was Mr. Eddie Van Halen. And again, all the links to these in the description. You can click on them and check out some of the highlights of what they've done as well. And probably the fourth one, which is massively influenced by today's modern players, who ask me again all the time, is Slash. Sweet Child of Mine. Everybody has to learn Sweet Child of Mine at some point. And I love these, and if you notice that apart from possibly Hank Marvin, the rest of them are all rock based, so it's kind of a breath of fresh air for me that a lot of the younger players are still embracing rock guitar players and rock music, which is brilliant. It really is a good thing to see. So Slash, again, the classic Sweet Child of Mine, everybody wants to learn to play that, and it's a great riff to work on as well. Okay, and finally on my little list that I've acquired over the years of songs that students want to learn. Now, when this guy came out, I really felt like just taking the guitar and selling up and packing it all away and giving up. He totally blew me out of the water. I'd never seen anything like this before. It was a phenomenal technique, and still out there today, and still requested by a lot of the kids out there to learn some of the stuff, and it's Mr. Yngwie Malmsteen. And again, there are generations of players and the likes who don't know some of these performers that I've mentioned earlier. If you are unfamiliar with them, again, check them all out. But Yngwie's technique was just lightning fast, neoclassical style, classical chord structures and arpeggiated runs, and a lot of his stuff based around the harmonic minor scale, which just gave it this quirky sound. And then when he was playing 1,010,000 notes per second, it kind of just blew everybody away. You know, it was an incredible technique that he exploded on the scene with. So check him out as well, Mr. Yngwie Malmsteen. So there we go. They are 4 or 5 very influential guitar players over the last 50, 60 years that have stood by the test of time, really, and I'm still teaching songs to the guitar students from these kind of guys this day, which is a huge, huge testament to their abilities and the impact that they've had on probably modern rock music to this day. So thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this short video. If you have, then give us a thumbs up and like and comment and all this kind of stuff. And if you've got any guitar players yourself that you think should be on this list, if you're a fellow teacher or producer and you've worked with a lot of students, then check them out and put them on the list below, and we maybe even do another video together. It would be good. So again, thanks to the collection by Michael Miller for sponsoring all the videos in Arena Recording Studio. And I will see you very soon, hopefully with some more lessons. I've just been crazy busy on the production front, so I'm struggling to get on things for you, so I do apologise on that front. But I will be back very soon, hopefully with some more guitar tips and tricks for you. So from me, Chris, stay safe, stay well, and keep on rocking in the free world.